adapting in real time, attacks without
AI attackers to poison machine learning models. By the end of this episode, you'll understand how AI is weaponizing cybercrime and what it means for your investments and digital security. So let's start with something that sounds like science fiction but is happening right now. What exactly are these networked AI agent botnets?
These aren't your typical botnets. Security researchers are reporting a sharp rise in autonomous AI-driven botnets that coordinate attacks without human operators. They use reinforcement learning to probe identity systems, MFA fatigue vectors, and API gateways.
Wait, reinforcement learning? So they're literally getting smarter with each attack attempt?
Exactly. These botnets behave like swarms, adapting in real time. They bypass traditional signature-based defenses because they're not following predetermined patterns. They're learning from each failed attempt and adjusting their approach.
That's terrifying. And they're specifically targeting cloud identity misconfigurations?
Right, they exploit cloud identity misconfigurations at scale. Think about it, most companies have hundreds of cloud services with different authentication layers. These AI systems can probe all of them simultaneously, learning which approaches work best.
And this is already hitting the stock market. Palo Alto Networks saw increased volatility as investors tried to figure out if this was good or bad news for them.
It's both, really. PANW experienced volatility as investors priced in both the risk and the demand for next-gen firewalls. Meanwhile, CrowdStrike and Zscaler saw upward pressure due to their identity-first and zero-trust positioning.
So companies that focus on identity and behavioral analytics are winning?
Absolutely. AI-driven threats increase demand for behavioral analytics, which benefits companies like SentinelOne. When attackers are using AI to adapt, you need AI-powered defenses that can spot unusual behavior patterns.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. There's a connection to AI policy and tariffs. How does that work?
Rising AI regulation discussions in the US and EU include export controls on high-end GPUs. The concern is that tariffs on AI hardware could slow defensive AI adoption, potentially widening the gap between attackers and defenders.
Wait, so the tariffs might actually help the bad guys?
It's counterintuitive, but yes. Attackers can use cheaper, open-source models while enterprises need cutting-edge defensive AI. If tariffs make advanced hardware more expensive, it could create an asymmetric advantage for cybercriminals.
That brings us to our second major story, AI supply chain attacks. This one really caught my attention because it involves poisoned machine learning models.
A top cloud vendor disclosed that an open-source AI model repository was used as a vector to distribute poisoned models. These models attempted to establish outbound command and control channels when deployed.
So someone basically created a Trojan horse, but instead of hiding soldiers, they hid malicious code inside an AI model?
That's a perfect analogy. The whole AI supply chain attack reminds me of those old Trojan horse stories, except now the horse is a machine learning model and the city is your entire cloud infrastructure.
And companies are just downloading these models without really inspecting them?
Exactly. Enterprises increasingly integrate third-party models without deep inspection. AI supply chain attacks are now a primary threat vector because poisoned models can embed inference time backdoors that only activate under specific conditions.
How did the market react to this news?
Microsoft and Amazon cloud security divisions emphasized new scanning layers, which boosted confidence in their platforms. CyberArk gained attention due to its privileged access protection relevance for these types of attacks.
What about Fortinet?
Fortinet saw mixed reactions as investors weighed their hardware-heavy product lines against these cloud-native threats. The market is clearly favoring companies with cloud-first security approaches.
And again, we see this policy connection with tariffs and AI imports?
Right. Proposed tariffs on foreign AI chips could shift model training to domestic providers, and there's increased scrutiny on open-source AI imports that may lead to new compliance frameworks.
Now let's talk about the third story, which honestly sounds like something out of a cyberpunk novel. AI-generated zero-day exploits targeting industrial networks.
A ransomware syndicate used AI-assisted exploit generation to target industrial control systems. The attack leveraged synthetic zero days created by automated fuzzers.
Synthetic zero days? Can you break that down?
It's wild that we're seeing ransomware groups basically become AI research labs, using automated fuzzers to generate zero days faster than security teams can patch them. They're creating brand new exploits that have never been seen before.
And they're specifically going after industrial systems?
Yes, because ICS environments are traditionally slow to patch. AI-generated exploits reduce the time between vulnerability discovery and weaponization, making critical infrastructure sectors face heightened risk.
That has to be sending shockwaves through the industrial cybersecurity market.
Absolutely. Palo Alto Networks and Fortinet saw increased demand for OT security modules. Checkpoint remained stable, but analysts flagged its slower AI adoption as a potential weakness.
What about companies that specialize in industrial cybersecurity?
Industrial cybersecurity firms like Tenable and private company Clarity gained significant visibility. The market is recognizing that traditional IT security approaches aren't enough for operational technology environments.
And once again, we see this connection to AI policy and export controls.
AI export controls may limit access to high-end compute for foreign ransomware groups. However, open-source AI models remain widely accessible, reducing the effectiveness of tariffs alone.
So we're seeing this pattern where policy responses might not be keeping up with the threat evolution?
Exactly. The democratization of AI tools means that even if you restrict access to the most powerful hardware, attackers can still use freely available models to cause significant damage.
Let's zoom out and look at the bigger market picture. How are cybersecurity stocks reacting overall to these AI-driven threats?
PANW shows increased volatility but long-term bullish sentiment due to AI-driven product lines. CRWD has strong upward momentum as identity attacks surge. ZS is benefiting from zero trust adoption.
And Sentinel-1?
Sentinel-1 is seeing gains tied to autonomous detection relevance. When attackers are using AI, investors want companies that can fight AI with AI.
What about the companies that might be struggling to adapt?
Fortinet shows mixed performance due to their hardware-heavy portfolio. The market is clearly favoring cloud-native, AI-powered solutions over traditional hardware-based approaches.
So overall, AI-driven botnets are accelerating demand for what types of security solutions?
Behavioral analytics, identity-first security, and cloud-native defenses. The market is rewarding companies that can adapt to this new AI versus AI battlefield.
I'm struck by how quickly this landscape is changing. Are we basically in an AI arms race now?
We absolutely are. The cybersecurity landscape is being reshaped by AI-powered botnets, AI supply chain poisoning, and AI-generated zero-day exploits. It's not just about having better tools anymore, it's about having smarter tools.
And this directly influences stock movements, policy debates, and enterprise adoption decisions?
Exactly. These threats directly influence stock movements in cybersecurity firms, AI hardware tariffs and policy debates, and enterprise adoption of defensive AI systems. Everything is interconnected now.
What's your take on where this is all heading? Are we going to see even more sophisticated AI attacks?
The intersection of AI, geopolitics, and cybersecurity is now a core driver of both risk and market opportunity. As AI becomes more accessible, we'll see both more sophisticated attacks and more sophisticated defenses.
So when you step back from all this, what's the key takeaway for someone trying to understand this new landscape?
The old rules don't apply anymore. We're not just dealing with human hackers following scripts, we're dealing with AI systems that learn and adapt. That changes everything about how we think about cybersecurity.
And for investors watching these cybersecurity stocks?
Look for companies that are embracing AI-powered defenses, not just traditional security approaches. The market is clearly rewarding innovation in behavioral analytics and identity-first security.
What about the policy implications? Should people be worried about these AI export controls and tariffs?
The challenge is that policy moves slowly while technology moves fast. By the time regulations catch up, the threat landscape has already evolved. We need more agile policy frameworks.
And for businesses trying to protect themselves right now?
Don't wait for perfect solutions. Invest in behavioral analytics, implement zero-trust architectures, and assume that AI-powered attacks are already targeting your systems. The time for reactive security is over.
That's both sobering and actionable advice. Any final thoughts on where this AI cybersecurity arms race is taking us?
We're entering an era where cybersecurity isn't just about protecting data, it's about protecting the AI systems that run our world. The stakes have never been higher, but neither have the opportunities for companies that get it right.
Perfect. So here's what you need to remember from today's episode. AI isn't just changing how we work, it's revolutionizing how cybercriminals attack and how we defend. Those autonomous botnets learning from each failed attempt, they're already out there. The poisoned AI models hiding in open source repositories, they're waiting to be downloaded. But here's the thing. Understanding this puts you ahead of most people who are still thinking about cybersecurity in old school terms. Whether you're an investor watching these stock movements or a business leader planning your security strategy, You now know that the future belongs to AI-powered defenses fighting AI-powered attacks. Thanks for joining us on